It's been quite a long time since Ryan Garcia pulled one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, beating Devin Haney. But since then, the aftermath of this fight has left a huge scar in Ryan and Devin's life. Devin Haney went out relentless trying to sue Ryan Garcia, and now even worse, Ryan Garcia's fake acting.
Come on, God, you really thought I was crazy? You done lost your whole mind!
Has been reminiscing since then, and now you went on a spree of offending the Muslim, black, and trans community. This rematch between Ryan and Devin is honestly still up in the air, considering the fact that every time you ask both of these fighters the same question on whether or not they're gonna rematch each other, you always get a different answer. Sometimes they say yes, no, maybe, or never.
As a competitor, Dev, do you want that rematch with Ryan Garcia? Is that something that's like, man, I gotta get that back?
If he was right here, I'd get it back right now.
Number one, though, is Ryan, right? There's nothing that you want more than that.
Of course, that's a fight that I want to get back in blood. But we just got to see. We never know what the future holds.
Yeah. How interested are you in getting back in there with him again?
Honestly, I'm not too interested in it. I don't see myself ever, getting back in the ring. But I'm a fighter. I'm speaking, right now with how I feel. But we never know what the future holds.
You almost have to have the rematch again.
No,
so let's run it back.
No.
Because you said it.
I did, but it ain't no rematch. This dude got clowned up. I barely tried, bro. I was drinking every day. On Monday, I was at Tao nightclub. Tuesdays, I was at Little Sister. Wednesdays, I went out. Thursday, I went out. Friday, I was drinking. I was doing whatever I want. The day of the fight, I drank a Blue Moon. I was chilling, bro. Every day, we gotta be ready. So when Devin Haney wants that fade again, we already beat his ass one time.
We do it again.
If we do it twice, no debating anymore. I beat his ass like he stole something.
When we look back at the story between Ryan and Devin, the whole buildup was basically Ryan and Devin were 3-3 in the amateurs, and since they turned pro, they ultimately were gonna meet each other and fight and settle once and for all who was the better boxer. Ryan and Devin would go on a back and forth with each other, saying that their fights were pretty competitive back in the amateurs. Devin has said himself that whenever Ryan would beat him back in the amateurs, he would beat him purely out of Devin's inexperience in the ring.
He had more experience than me in the beginning. Like I didn't get on the amateur scene like that. I was just training in the gym. Like how like a kid would be training in the gym, but like don't have the amateur pedigree. Like he's not like going to the tournaments. He was going to the tournaments, so he had more experience than me.
But whenever Devin gained experience, when time went on, he ultimately got the best out of Ryan in the amateurs.
Once I got that experience, I was getting older. I was growing up. I started beating out of him.
But it's interesting because whenever Ryan would beat Devin in the amateurs, he said he would beat Devin by a long shot, similar to what we saw in the pros.
When I beat him, people were talking about it even after that. I remember specifically in North Carolina, we were at the Junior Olympic Nationals. We were about 15, 14. And I mean, I went at him right away, and I had him, hurt, wobbling, in the middle of the ring. Everybody's going crazy.
But whenever the roles were reversed and Devin would beat Ryan, Ryan himself would say that the way he got beat by Devin was by points, purely by a decision.
When I'm locked in, obviously, I hurt him every time. There's times where I didn't lock in and he ended up beating me on points, but it was very mediocre wins, nothing that stands out.
The fact that Devin beat Devin in a dominant fashion when Devin had no experience. The fact that Devin beat Ryan in close decisions when Devin gained more experience over time. It really makes everything mold together. And for the people who say that amateur boxing is way different than professional boxing, I'm gonna have to disagree. Especially in a scenario where you fought the same guy 6 times, but you beat him 3 times, but you also lost to him 3 times, it really says a lot. Taking that into consideration, if you notice in the buildup of the fight, Ryan, Devin, and Bill kind of had this thing going on where they would tell each other to meet us in the center of the ring, meet us in the center of the ring. And this went on until the day of the fight.
So are you going to come the first round are you going to come like you come at Tank and you're going to come, right?
I bet you wish I did
forward?
that.
Are you coming forward? Ryan, are you coming forward? Like Regis Progress said he was going to do.
And I don't know about you, but whenever they said things like meet me in the center of the ring,
all gloves are off. If him and his team are really who they say they are, come to the center of the ring. Come to the center of the ring. Don't run. Don't run.
I never really thought anything of it other than it being trash talk until this specific press conference. That one specific press conference where Ryan Garcia says, I'm gonna put my slong in your mouth.
Yeah, that fear coming in your mouth like a bitch, dog. I'll put my dick in your mouth, bitch.
After that press conference was over, Devin does some interviews, and one reporter specifically asked Devin a really good question related to their fights in the amateurs, more specifically their fight in 2014, where Devin does meet Ryan in the center of the ring and beat him. This reporter asked Devin this question, and I don't know about you, but Devin reacted very weirdly to this. Take a look.
In 2014, when you fought Ryan in the amateurs, you did meet him in the center of the ring. You had him on his back foot. Do you feel like you need to remind him that, you know, you were putting pressure on him and he was basically...
Yeah, Ryan will see. Ryan will see that. You know, I'm on a different level.
I don't know if I'm dumb or smart here, but it seems to me that Devin's legitimate plan was to actually meet Ryan in the center of the ring and play his game. This further proves my point, which is whenever Ryan and Devin did fight each other in the amateurs back in 2014, Devin did meet Ryan in the center of the ring and beat him by points. Like Ryan Garcia said before, he beat me by points.
When I'm locked in, obviously, I hurt him every time. You know, there's times where I didn't lock in and he ended up beating me on points, but it was very mediocre wins, nothing that stands out.
Devin does do that to Ryan in the pros, but ultimately loses. But this also proves my point, which is, 1, the amateurs did matter when it came down to the pros, and 2, Devin and Bill were telling us their plan all along, which was to meet Ryan in the center of the ring and beat him by a close decision or by points, which they did in the amateurs. But why am I telling you all this? Devin got beat fair and square, and I know what you guys are gonna say. Ryan had PEDs in his system. Ryan had a 3-pound weight advantage on him. And I'm just gonna have to stop you right there. Because the amount of drugs, aka the Ostrom, that was found in Ryan Garcia's system was super minimal. Ryan Garcia said himself that the amount he had in his system was a billionth of a gram.
There's a whole Olympic-sized swimming pool. There has a grain of salt of what they found in my system. This is bullshit, bro. They're cheating, bro. Fuck them. They could all suck a big one.
So it practically made no difference in the fight. And about the 3-pound weight advantage, that 3-pound weight advantage that everybody's talking about doesn't apply to Ryan in this situation, considering the fact that Devin is known to rehydrating to big numbers after weight cuts. For example, in Devin's fight between Regis Prograis, Devin went past a rehydration limit, meaning that the fight should have never happened, but it did anyways. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that Ryan had no physical or mental advantage towards Devin Haney. But anyways, back to my conversation, which is why am I telling you all this? Devin did get beat fair and square whether you like it or not. And the fact that Devin and Bill openly admitted their whole entire plan, which was to beat Ryan in the center of the ring, is crazy.
Has a heart too. I don't think Ryan will meet me in the middle. I don't think he's ready for that kind of fight.
Devin essentially tried to use the same plan that he used on Ryan in the amateurs to the pros. But he lost, so why does this matter? The point I'm trying to make is that people are making the assumption that if Ryan and Devin were to do a 3-fight trilogy, Ryan would win all of them and beat Devin more worse than what we saw the first time. But I disagree. You see, we have to keep in mind that whenever Devin would lose to Ryan in the amateurs, he said that he would lose because of his inexperience in the ring.
We were about like 9, maybe 10. We fought in the junior Golden Gloves, and Ryan had a lot more experience than me.
But whenever time went on and Devin gained more experience in the amateurs, he started to beat Ryan in close decisions by points.
He was a kid that he was just starting out. He didn't have as much experience as me. I beat him. I gave him 8 count. I was always the top dog. I mean, everybody knew Ryan's in the tournament. He'll be in the finals.
So if Devin were to fight Ryan again, what should be the game plan? What should he change? And honestly, it should be nothing. Sure, you could say he didn't use his jab. His footwork was off. He was being more of an inside fighter rather than an outside fighter. Sure, there's things that Devin did in the ring that was out of character. But explain me this. Why is it that Eddie Hearn and Chris Mannix, who work for the Zone, why did they have the fight a close decision or even a draw?
I thought he went on and won the next 4 rounds. I actually had the fight a draw.
Think about it. Eddie Hearn and Chris Mannix both had a fight a close decision or even a draw. And their explanation was whenever Ryan wasn't knocking down Devin Haney, Devin majority of the time was putting the pressure and outboxing him.
I did have the fight a draw. You know, I thought he won the last round and he won virtually every other round apart from the rounds that he got dropped in. But he got dropped too many times. It's very difficult to win a round when win a fight when you've been dropped 3 times.
Now let's go back to what I just said about how back in the amateurs, Ryan would beat Devin in a dominant fashion, whereas whenever Devin would beat Ryan, he would beat Ryan in a close decision win. So if you really think about this fight, it basically summarizes Devin and Ryan's whole history with each other in the amateurs. Despite the people thinking that Ryan Garcia won the fight by pure domination, there's a lot of powerful entities out there who believe that the fight was pretty close and even a draw. So what makes people, and I mean a lot of people, automatically assume that if they were to rematch each other again, Devin would lose all of them? From what I'm seeing, I truly believe that if Ryan and Devin were to fight each other again, we may see a scenario where Devin does beat Ryan, but like Ryan said before, in a point-based decision. What we saw Devin do to Ryan in the pros has worked before in the amateurs. Obviously he lost, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it can't work anymore in the future. The chemistry I see with Devin and Ryan is a toss-up. If Devin and Ryan were to fight each other 100 times, I could honestly see the score between them be 50-50. Sometimes very competitive, and sometimes not so competitive. This is definitely not going to be the last time we're going to see Ryan and Devin fight each other in the ring. I wouldn't be surprised if Devin were to beat Ryan in the center of the ring and pick Ryan Garcia apart just like he did in the amateurs. Devin's whole secret wasn't his plan. It's the fact that he can come back from this loss just like he did in the amateurs and beat Ryan just like he did before in the amateurs as well. My name's Yahin Zamali and I'm out. Peace.